How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the next episode. As you can see, we got a little bit more to go before we get the front part of this boat completely demolished. As you can see, I'm just kind of hanging out. I wanted to get a good shot of both sides, and I said, you know what? Might as well take a break. After yesterday and doing all this behind me, I'm exhausted. Really am. So some key things while you got this shot here. If you have a Harbor Freight nearby, pick up a box of these really thick nitrile gloves. And also, the only place I've been able to find these Tyvek suits are going to be at like Home Depot. Pick up a bunch of them because you're going to go through them on a pretty regular basis. You'll split like where your elbow is a lot, and you'll split your like shoulder area and armpit area too. You're going to go through a bunch of them, so definitely get a bunch of those things handy. You know, these suits, they're about 13 bucks. They're not that expensive. The other thing you want to make sure is you protect yourself, because if you don't, this fiberglass can really mess you up. You can see around my wrist, that's what I was alluding to just a minute ago, is I tape up my wrist because that fiberglass gets inside my glove and it irritates like crazy. There's another thing too called talc powder, and anytime you're working around fiberglass, you want to have talc powder around. I'll show you what that is here in a little bit. You've probably seen it at the grocery store a million times. But basically, it's just there to keep the fiberglass from getting inside of your skin. So anyway, let's kick off the little project here some more, and we'll get this front piece all cut out and, get the foam out and all that fun stuff. So let's kick this party off.
Okay, so all suited up. Back to what we were doing. We're going to cut along the seams. Now it actually goes all the way forward to about right there, and then watch my hand. It actually makes a U and then heads into that direction. So pay attention to some of the cues, for example right there, and this will help you as you're demoing the boat and you don't accidentally go through it. So anyway, to kick things off, I'll go ahead and start cutting all the way till the wood stops, and then kind of make that little turn over there, and then that'll help alleviate the wood from sticking to the top, and hopefully we can get underneath here and just pop this off. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I don't think the bond is very strong with the stringers. Like, check that out. So in theory, once we cut along this edge, we should be able to technically probably pull this out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, wish me luck here. Okay. You can see, kind of cut all the way around there. And up into that corner. You have to be really careful with the angles here, because if you're not very lucky, you may end up punching through the bottom of the boat. So definitely be very careful. You can see here, it's held in on that little corner, so I'll nick that a little bit more so it'll come loose. Okay. Hopefully that did the trick. Let's see if it'll come loose now. Alright, looks like it did. Let's slide this back. I recommend trying to see how you have these like really crazy angles like that. Try to keep pieces of wood like this, because what will happen when you're trying to make your new marine grade plywood that goes underneath all this, you're going to try to capture a similar angle to what you have here. And what best to use than the old fiberglass? So keep that in mind as you're demoing. Try not to just completely throw out everything. You're going to see after everything's said and done, I'm going to try to piece it all back together so we can build some templates to put in the new marine grade plywood. So yeah, anyway. You can see in here we got a little bit of foam. And then I'll go ahead and get this piece out of the boat. Okay, and with the help of my pry bar, last bit of foam. And that is pretty much it. I'm gonna go in that corner up there and trim that out. Here's the last of the stringer up front. Not much left, huh? And this is all rotten out too. Strongest part is fiberglass, that's about it. But the infrastructure, the plywood is definitely rotten. So, just so I can get in there easily, I'll go ahead and cut this little piece of stringer out, and you can see now I have exposed the stringer on this side as well. And I'll go ahead and cut that out. Okay, let's see if we can get this stringer out here. So just in case you're wondering, I really got that out with one hit. I actually hit it about 3 times off camera. So, yeah. So, the front stringer, not too bad. Like I said, I'm going to keep this just in case I decided to use it for, you know, using a markup for future measurements. But for now, go ahead and get rid of it. There's a few little pieces up front that I need to kind of finish up, and then I'll trim that side just a little bit because I don't want that catching on me as I'm underneath there. But other than that, this side is pretty well done. It's looking pretty good so far. Gonna be a lot of grinding over here. I'm not looking forward to that. Anyway, let's get back to it here. Okay, so just in case you're wondering, this is the very tip of the wood that I just cut out, and also rotten. Just goes to show this flooring had moisture from the very back to the very front. So I can delaminate the plywood just with my fingers, so not good. Pretty bad shape. So there's obviously some more I could do in terms of cutting up there, but what I'm kind of interested in is completely removing the decking and then the foam. Also the carpet. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've said it already, but the carpet is probably the hardest part about getting this thing demoed, because you gotta get the carpet out of there. And it's stuck everywhere. It's stuck all along the sides. A real pain. So anyway, without further ado, I'll go ahead and start cutting on the driver's side now. Same concept. You cut up and around, and then pop this last of the decking off up here. Okay, so you can see I duplicated my efforts on the other side. I ended up cutting a little V out so I could pry that piece of the flooring up. This part of the flooring was actually in pretty decent shape as I started to tear into it here. You can see right here, the wood is somewhat whole. Well, keep in mind, I say decent, but as we slide this out, we both know if we flip this thing over, it may be a different find after all, because I can feel under here it's actually still kind of moist. Okay, so as you can see, I had to cut it out just like that. Yeah, it's still pretty well rotten. Okay. to the final part here. We'll just pop out this foam and we'll cut out that little nose section. And from there, we're pretty close to getting to the grinding phase. If you've seen another channel's grinding phase of flooring and transom rebuilding, you'll know it's a pretty extensive part of the project. Lots and lots of grinding. You probably heard me talk about it before. But yeah, we're getting closer to that part here. And that's where this suit comes into play even more, because without it, you're gonna have a lot of itching going on, put it that way. Okay, that foam was a pain to get out, I'll tell you what. Alright, so let's pop this stringer off of this side. And that little one way over there. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we're pretty much demoed out at this point. We'll see. Okay. Do a little bit here. Not easy. Alright. And we'll get that little piece in the front up there next. Okay. So we got that little corner piece out. As you can see, I'm still fighting with the rug under there. It is proven to be something else, I'll tell you what. Alright, let's take a look up front here. So besides the rug, which is strategically stuck all underneath here, very tough to get out because of how they sandwich these two pieces together. You can see the rug is actually, it goes all the way up in here. And essentially what I'm going to have to do is get all this old decayed wood out of the way, but I'll have to cut an access hole in here to get underneath, because there is still a lot of wood in here that needs to get presumably removed. I'm gonna feel back here a little bit more just to make sure that is the case. It does seem like it. So it'll probably be my next little part of the project here. Also, you can see there were some screws left over from this old piece of, I guess, bench. Let's see. We can move this out of the way here. See if we can find what's left of the bolts. Alright, so got 4 of them. Now what I'll do is I'll take the oscillating blade and then just slice these off, all 4 of them, and then kind of reassess what we got here. Alright.
Alright everybody, so this has been a really long little day here in the boat. I am just about ready to clean up and call it a day. You can see I've accumulated a lot of debris since we started this project. So I got my trusty little Home Depot broom, and I'm just going to go around here, put my mask back on, of course, and just kind of do a initial cleanup here. But you can see got the floor and everything completed up. So anyway, hope you like the series. As always, subscribe, like the video if you thought it was helpful. See you on the next episode. Have a good one.